Yo, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am George, I am back, I am here outside the cinema. There's actually a poster for Halloween behind me, can you see it? There it is, there is that face looming ominously in the background. Anyway, this seems like kind of an appropriate place to film this video, even though apparently I'm in a high-risk area for phone theft, which I'm currently standing here with my phone in broad daylight, and all someone has to do is come along, grab it, and run off. And it would be just like a horror movie, like Halloween. Is that a friend of mine I see across the street? No, just someone who's a potential thief. Anyway, so I saw the new Halloween 2018, and I liked it, but it's not great. There you go, review over. No, extra details. So I'm a big fan of the original Halloween. I think it's not a perfect film. I like some of John Carpenter's films quite a bit more than it, and even though the music is fantastic, I think the music is slightly overdone in the original Halloween. So I'm not comparing this to that and saying that's the best thing ever. You know, it's like it's a good iconic horror film with some great stuff in it, the original. I really like Halloween 2, actually. I think some aspects of Halloween 2 are even better than Halloween 1. I think that's an awesome film. And I actually think this film has a little bit of that Halloween 2 vibe in it. Because if you've seen Halloween 2 is almost real time. It carries on directly from the first film. So like just after midnight, that film begins, Halloween 2, and it just carries on through Halloween. And this is kind of like that. It is like a night in Halloween. And it's really good when that happens. When it becomes, there's a scene in this film that says October 31st, just appears on the screen. And from that moment on, the film is pretty damn good. But everything before that, which I'd say is about 25 minutes, could just have been cut. Especially the first 10 minutes or so. There's a bit that you've probably seen in the trailer, and maybe you've seen the film where these English man and woman, don't know if they're a couple or not. He probably wants to be, but she's rejected him. She's friend-zoned him. So instead, he's just dragging her to prisons to speak to psychotic serial killers as a date. No wonder they're not a couple if that's the place he takes her on a date. But anyway, it's quite annoying. It feels like a British soap opera. Both actors are annoying, not blaming them, but the script is bad. And it's just frustrating, and they show like Michael Myers a little bit. They show sides of his head, the back of his head without the mask, and it's not very good. It's like it's scary never knowing what that person looks like behind the mask. And even if they reveal just kind of a humanity just by showing some of his face or skin or whatever, it's just like it really detracts from the horror of it all. And it's a bit annoying in the beginning where this English man holds up the mask like, Michael, I have your mask, Michael. Michael, I've brought it with me, Michael. Michael, do you love me, Michael? I love you, Michael. Anyway, it's all fucking annoying. And I would have completely cut the first 20 minutes or so. There are two kids in the film who are both really good. Normally kid actors can be annoying, but not here. In fact, there's some of the best stuff in it. One kid at the beginning who pulls an AK-47 or some kind of big gun out and walks down an empty night road. That's a good scene. That should have been the first scene, really. But other than that, it's a good film when Mike Myers is in it. Every time he's on screen, it's good. But whenever he's not on screen, it's boring and it's slow and it's stale. And the characters are, for the most part, very unlikable. There's the kind of cliched, tubby, overweight character who cracks jokes, and he's good, he's fun, but almost everyone else is, I don't really like any of these people. And even the Jamie Lee Curtis character is she's not particularly likable. And then it does all kinds of stupid horror movie cliches like Mike is walking around the town, we're gonna get you to your grandma's house, which is Jamie Lee Curtis, her house in the woods, get back there where it's safe. And it's like, fuck that. Like, if this psychopath is walking around stabbing people to death, like, get the first fucking plane out. Go to Florida. Chill on the beach. Like, why the hell would you go and stay in her house in the woods? It's just ridiculous. And I know she's like, you know, I've prepared for him to come here for all this time. It's like, fuck that. Get on the first fucking plane and leave. But it does work in that regard because the audience do that kind of like pantomime, he's behind you stuff. Where it's like, don't go there, go there. and the actors are doing all the stupid stuff that you're not supposed to do, but it adds to the scare factor, and the audience really liked it. There was some applause and shrieks and all the good stuff you get in a horror movie that works. But I would definitely say pace-wise, it could have lost half an hour, would have made it a better film. I really, like, as an editor, I would love to get that movie and cut half an hour out, cut my own version of it. The music is really good. There are some remixes of the original soundtrack that's really good. Some heavy, sort of distorted, gritty industrial sounds that come through at certain points. I really like that. And some of the cinematography is really, really good. Once in a while, you do get these horror sequels, and I think good horror directors, they know how to use a camera to instill fear and create tension. Like if you watch, say, Friday the 13th Part 2 has some very good camera work. The first one, not so much, and the others not so much. But the second has some good long takes and interesting, like, precision with the camera. And this does as well. There are like 1 or 2 scenes with long takes where the camera just follows Mike, and then the camera moves into different directions where you're like looking through windows and waiting for something to happen. I'm not going to give them away, but there's a specific shot that's really very, very good. But the whole thing isn't up to par, and I'd say mainly because of the script. It's just like the direction is good, the music is good, the scary scenes are good, but the script isn't good enough for all of the in-between. And that's a bit of a shame, because it's like, and the other thing I'd criticize about it is it doesn't look like film. It might be film, but it doesn't look like gritty horror movie film. And like recently I saw a marathon of Friday the 13th movies in the cinema on 35mm, or maybe something more busted up like 16mm. But when you watch those films all busted up and grainy and gritty and dirty, and it looks like the film's about to burst into flames at any second, it really adds to the horror vibe. And I felt like if I had this movie, I'd have cut 30 minutes out, transferred it to real film, busted it up so it was all dirty, and then shifted it back to the to digital so that it could have gone into the modern cinemas. So it was kind of lacking certain things, but ultimately, if it had been shot on film and it looked a bit busted up, and I'd seen it in 1992 on a VHS tape at midnight with some friends, we'd be happy. It would be great. It would be great fun. No real complaints, but yeah, definitely would have lopped off the first half an hour. Anyway, some girl just looked at me as I walked past. I should have spoken to her instead of you. But I'm going to duck now into the cinema because I didn't see Halloween today. I saw it a couple days ago, but now I'm going to go and see Bad Times at the El Royale, which is probably taking its name from Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And I'm really excited to see this movie. So, going to see that now. Anyway, ta-ra, bye-bye, bye-bye.